Celebrities are not good people. A lot of them are not even really people. The mainstream media is evil. Do not worship celebrities. They do not deserve your energy. In my last video, I was trying to make a very specific point about how celebrities are psychological weapons that are used to push propaganda on us. And in the first episode, I managed to prove that the mainstream media, and even the medium upon which the mainstream media is even offered to us, always existed as a platform to sell us propaganda. So pretty much every mainstream celebrity that exists within the mainstream exists as propaganda. But knowing that television, film, and music are on the market in order to facilitate propaganda to you, your families, and your communities is not really enough in and of itself to break you out of their spell. If you're like me, you'll still find a lot of love for their media, and you'll want to believe that even if those artists are evil and they're trying to destroy you, at least they're still good musicians and make incredible art and deserve to be celebrated for making such iconic music. Well, this series is designed to break you out of the matrix, and if you want to leave that baggage behind, you'll need to know the truth about the artists that you love. There are a million artists out there that are way better than all of the mainstreamers you hear every day on the radio. Those people don't get to be on the radio because they're the best. A lot of those huge artists at the top don't produce their own songs, they don't write their own lyrics. A lot of them don't come up with their own ideas. They either commission a song based on things that they've heard and that they like, or they'll just straight up steal from other creators. Hell, some mainstream artists don't even sing their own songs. They steal other singers' recordings, and then they'll just use those vocals, or they'll mix the other artist's vocals in with their own and hope that you just won't notice as they play it off as if it's them singing. Multiple huge celebrities lip sync other singers' vocals unironically live every night. Some of the biggest names in music do this. Too many of the queens and icons that you've been encouraged to worship are nothing but 2-bit hacks that can't sing worth shit. Even me, I can barely sing and hold the key. This ain't no place for no better man. But even I'm better than most of the new names that have come out in like the last 10 years. I'm not even joking. And if the biggest names and music brands are doing this and getting away with it, then all mainstream artists potentially could be doing this. But worse than that, a lot of these celebrities that are usually presented to us as the moral and social leaders of our society are actually horrible, vapid, selfish people who have destroyed lives to achieve success, all to maintain their precious manufactured image. They think that they're better than you and that the laws and rules of our society should not apply to them. They are literally that entitled. Get ready to have your hearts broken, folks. Never meet your heroes. There's this quirky phenomenon in the music industry where hundreds of artists in the Western Hemisphere have all produced songs using the exact same 4 chords.
Forever young, I wanna be forever young. If I could, then I would. I'd go wherever you will go. And feel the love tonight. I dread, oh, take me home to the place where I belong. And she will belong, yeah, she will belong. When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me.
Oh yeah, people have been putting out these songs since at least the 90s. Usually musicians can be at each other's throats for stealing each other's ideas, sounds, lyrics, musical note progressions.
I lost control about what you do, so but I gotta trust your flow. Oh baby, oh baby, oh baby, oh baby, oh baby, oh baby, you got that 9 to 5, but baby so high, so don't be thinking I'll be
In the 90s, Metallica infamously won a case against another band for using the same 3-chord progression. And because they won, Metallica is legally the only band allowed to use those 3 chords. The universal 4-chord progression thing is an open secret in the music industry. Everybody knows about it, but obviously nobody's gonna talk about it because it would diminish the success of hundreds of your favorite songs. But it's a funny example of how unoriginal a lot of mainstream artists are to gain and maintain their success in the music industry, repeatedly relying on material in the public domain. But the truth is, most artists will rapidly and rigidly try to hold on and maintain all control of their copyright material while simultaneously actively disrespecting the copyright of other artists. I know that it's probably hard to believe this because of the way that the industry presents this to you. You'd assume that the artist that you're seeing on the cover of the album is the creative lead of the album, but that's a trick. The face of the album is just the face of the product. They're really treating it like theme park logic here. It's like we're going to Disneyland or something. Like when you show up to Disneyland and they tell you that there's a new house in the park that was built by Goofy, so you go to check it out and there's a Goofy mascot in front of the structure that's dancing around in a carpenter's outfit or something. And then all the adults are pretending that that teenager in the Goofy costume really did build that giant structure so that the kids all feel like the magic of the story. And obviously everyone knows that Goofy didn't really build this structure. It's a complex engineered attraction that was designed by skilled engineers. See, that kind of logic is fine at Disneyland because the point of Disneyland is to make believe. Goofy did not build that house. Disney Corp did. But you don't expect that with artists or musicians. You're told that the reason you're paying for the ticket, you're paying for the album, you're paying to see them live, and that we're worshiping them as icons of the music industry. We're told that we're doing that because they're good. And they're not. When they tell you that Beyonce is the one singing that song or singing that verse, what they really mean is that she's the one that owns it. Beyonce didn't produce that album. Goofy did. Or Jay-Z did, or whatever. When they tell you that a song is by Beyonce, or by Jennifer Lopez, or by Britney Spears, what they really mean is that it was commissioned by them. Or it just means that they've stolen it. A theme park lies to you to play make-believe and put a smile on your child's face. Jennifer Lopez lies to you because she's displaying a pathological strain of dishonesty because historically she has succeeded using a pattern of lies and bullying. So it's a little different from Disney. And Disney sucks, though. I'm not saying Disney's good. We're told we're celebrating these artists for their creative talent. Meanwhile, they're a useless waste of time, plagiarizing their way to the top out of pure ego, and faking their singing ability the entire time. There are countless stories of like struggling mothers and up-and-coming artists that have desperately tried to get into the industry by submitting demos, and then a big name like Beyonce will come along and literally steal those vocals or even steal the entire song idea and then mix that sound into their album and play it off as if it's their own art. Sometimes even using the original artist's voice and pretending it's them singing.
Honor to me if people would sample when they sample my records, but the thing about it is when they don't give me credit. Had ever had a record on that stayed #1 more than 2 weeks. This was #1 for 6 weeks. And I sat there and watched the television every day and saw this girl pantomime my song, and she got credit for it. Okay, they settled now. They call themselves settling, you know. But like they said with Lolita, they made it very clear that I'm, you know, not supposed to talk about it bad. So I'm not talking about it bad. I'm very, very happy.
This is probably why Beyonce lip syncs so goddamn much. Oh, that was sassy. Outside of the entertainment industry, some of these fake artists start off already wealthy and influential, and then they hire producers and musicians and even songwriters, and using their family influence or their inside connections through business, or with their connections through various clubs, or through witchcraft, they bully their way to success. I used Britney Spears as my main example of a fake artist in my last video, throwing up plenty of examples of her real voice live leaked.
All the people look at me like I'm a little girl. What did you ever think it'd be okay for me to step into this world? Oops, I did it again to your heart, got lost. In this game will be
Britney Spears is probably the single best individual modern example of an engineered artist, because we all watched her grow up on the Disney Channel. But a ton of artists lip sync, use fake voices or auto-tune in their music today. Almost nothing you hear in the mainstream is authentic anymore.
They stand in line for hours, at times paying as much as $85 for a ticket to hear their favorite pop stars perform live.
I did it again.
But fans may not realize some performers have a peculiar idea of what makes a concert live. It's a music world secret we've learned many in the industry don't want you to know about. Ever wonder how Britney Spears' voice remains pitch perfect while performing those acrobatic high-energy dance numbers? How even under a waterfall, her song remains the same? The answer is easy, says Professor Doug Mitchell. He teaches recording arts at Middle Tennessee State University, the nation's largest program of its kind.
Her mic wasn't on. It wasn't up. And what was playing over the loudspeakers were the pre-produced tracks.
Number 1, check for the position of the mic. If the singer is moving the mic all over the place and the level of the vocals isn't affected, that's a tell. Number 2, does the vibrato you hear in the song match the singer's vibrating vocal cords? Number 3, are they dancing like there's no tomorrow? Number 4, watch out for early or late cutoffs at the end of the phrase. Number 5, if the song sounds exactly like the studio version, then it's not live.
And I thought everyone knew this already. This shouldn't be controversial. But here I want to prove how monumentally absurd it is that anyone on this depressing planet would ever want to worship or celebrate any of these egotists. They are not artists. Please stop calling mainstream celebrities artists. Okay, the legal definition of ownership makes this conversation a little bit confusing, but a song doesn't technically have to be authored, written, produced, sung, or even performed by an artist for that song to be considered by that artist. Just like Goofy's House, it doesn't really matter if that song was made by that artist at all. If they tell you that a song is by Madonna or by Justin Timberlake, what they really mean is that their brand owns that song and that their faces are the faces of those songs. There are legal battles over copyright all the time. Like the time that Tom Petty successfully sued Sam Smith because Stay With Me, You're All I Need was too similar to Stand My Ground, I Won't Back Down. Those sorts of legal battles could happen every single day, and though we'll hear about them, we'll never hear any of the dirty details like how much they had to pay in their settlement, or what percentage of ownership they had to give up. Or sometimes we'll even just learn lies about a lawsuit, like the time that Radiohead sued Lana Del Rey because she copied part of the verse and chorus from Creep, which is like their most popular song ever. We only learned about this because Lana Del Rey herself made a statement claiming that Radiohead was trying to get 100% of publishing, and she was trying to talk them down to 30% or something. And she said that she didn't believe her song was copying Creep, but instead was inspired by it. It was like an homage. Then when the settlement was over, Lana came out and said, I can play my song whenever I want now. And that appeared to just be some drama. It turns out Radiohead never asked for 100% of publishing. That was a lie. All they wanted was what was fair. They wanted a writing credit on the song. They never asked for a payout. They never asked for money. In the end, it looked like the entire thing was probably just a giant publicity stunt. It was like a big marketing stunt for Lana's new album, trying to get you hyped up about how good it is because it's inspired by Radiohead. All of that. Lana's team made Radiohead jump through a bunch of hoops and grind up against a bunch of fucking legal paperwork just to get what was fair. A credit. But that's the thing though, a lot of these mainstream celebrity artists will knowingly and willingly break the law with the full intention of making the person that they're stealing from grind to get what they deserve. It's dirty.
All of these writers that you guys see celebrating in the studio with these artists posted up in pictures like, yeah, everything is all good. Those writers are being exploited. Those writers' time is not paid for. Their services are not paid for. Their contribution to the sound recording is not paid for. Their first use of the copyright is not paid for. Their parking is not paid for. Their lunch is not paid for. The truth is that we work in an industry that proclaims it makes billions of dollars but can't even buy you lunch.
A lot of big names get away with this because they're so famous and powerful and have such big legal teams that they can just strong arm everyone out of their work.
There's people that are like, then nobody had no gun to your head. The gun to your head is the power dynamic. The gun to your head is your livelihood. The gun to your head is being excluded and ostracized and retaliated against for even trying. That's the gun to your head. They control everything. That's the gun. You being silenced. That's the gun.
I mean, think about this. If this happened to like me or you or a small artist or an up-and-comer or a struggling mother, what would they do? It's up to you to come up with the capital to pay for the lawyer. Sometimes an artist will go into a project knowing full well that they're gonna get sued for their work, and they do it anyways because someone has calculated that even if they lose in the lawsuit and have to give up 50% of publishing, they'll still make X millions of dollars off of the album, so it's still worth it. And in the end, they'll still get to say that the song is by them, and they'll always be remembered as the author of that song. But doing it this way also creates that small possibility that that little artist you're stealing from isn't going to win their case at all, and you won't have to give up any publishing. You won't have to pay any credit. You won't have to give them any royalties. It's disgusting behavior.
People out here think they're gonna lose their opportunities, lose their jobs, lose their relationships, lose everything trying to negotiate, and y'all f***ing know that shit. And to act like that's not the case is so, like, for me, like, that's the shit that gets me riled up. Like, people are always like, oh my God, why are you not scared? Because I'm f***ing mad. What you're not gonna do is try to make me feel crazy, because I know I'm not crazy. I haven't been doing what I'm supposed to do, and nothing has gotten done. People's splits still aren't done. People still aren't getting paid. People still aren't being seen. People still aren't being heard. People are still being silenced. People are still under NDAs. While Jay-Z's up there on Sunday talking about why it's not fair Beyonce don't got a Grammy for Album of the Year.
I know this episode's a little bit more petty than the others in this series, but this all speaks to their character. The media pushes characters like this as the social and moral leaders of our society, always pushing them in front of every major event. Remember that cringe Imagine All the People collaboration at the beginning of the lockdowns?
Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try.
That was so tone deaf and just proved how detached celebrities are from reality. There was no homogeny to the song at all. They're all singing their own versions, making it all about themselves.
Imagine all the people
Living for today. Yeah.
There's no sincerity to media like that.
It isn't hard to do.
Nothing to kill or die for.
And no religion too.
It's because that video was never about us. They don't care about us. It's about them. It's about maintaining their status as the social and moral leaders of our society. The reason they jump in front of things like this, the reason they would make videos like this, is to maintain their status as spectacles in our culture. They had to jump in front of it. They're compelled as part of their deluded duty to care for us or something. But what the hell is this supposed to do? The lockdowns are pretty tough for me, and this video didn't help at all. Why are we even seeing celebrities and musicians pushing humanitarian and public service announcements anyways? Isn't that weird? The very concept of that, in and of itself, is insincere. These people do not care. They do not have principles. They do not have integrity. They're just talking heads for cash.
I take responsibility.
I take responsibility.
This one's even worse. What's even happening here?
I take responsibility for every unchecked moment.
For every time it was easier to ignore than to call it out for what it was.
What are they doing? What is this supposed to accomplish?
Every not so funny joke. Every unfair stereotype.
Every blatant injustice, no matter how big or small.
Every time I remained silent.
Every time I explained away police brutality.
They don't mean it. They're not actually stepping up and enacting change. They're just trying to make us feel guilty so that we'll get up and do something stupid, like perform a self-destructive act or join some group or cause.
Our friends, our family. We are done watching them die. We are no longer bystanders. We will not be idle. Enough is enough.
They portray themselves as holding a deep wisdom and a powerful concern for these issues. Meanwhile, they're literally just fulfilling an acting role. Later that day, all these actors probably ran off and did some ad for Oreos or something and completely forgot what they even said here. Celebrities will literally film a PSA saying that they hate guns and gun violence. Then later that same day, they'll film a scene where they're a character who runs around with a gun and is celebrated as a hero for killing bad guys. These people are f***ed. Britney Spears is absolutely guilty for stealing songs and stealing vocals and playing them off as if they're her own work. She is rotten. I always said that Toxic is one of the best pop songs ever written, and they always told us that Britney Spears wrote that song for Noel Fitzpatrick. Wikipedia still says that. Little did I know, Britney Spears stole that entire song from Kathy Dennis. The original's even better, and if you look it up, it says that Britney Spears is the author of that song, and Kathy Dennis is now listed as an additional writer. Yes, Kathy contributed the addition of the entire song.
I'm about to give you an answer I haven't given anybody else, I swear to God. No dramatics or nothing. Beyonce doesn't even know this. I wrote Love Drought. In all seriousness, I was very frustrated with the label. If I wasn't me, as in if I didn't know Beyonce from Houston, from growing up, would you still feel me? Like on my worst day? Like, she's gonna sing the song I wrote about her label one day.
Beyonce's done some shit too. Beyonce can sing, unlike a lot of the other artists I'll probably mention in this series. But Beyonce has played the plagiarism game before.
If I were a boy, drink beer with the guys, and chase after girls.
Beyonce may be the single worst offender for just strong-arming other artists and wrecking their fucking creations.
My name is Tiffany Red. I have been writing songs for 17 years. I've been in the music industry my entire adult life. Almost every artist that I have ever written for has gotten publishing on the record. Almost every record that I have done, I have written when the artist was not in the room. I talked to somebody yesterday, a manager of somebody who is a writer and producer on Renaissance. The song was written 6 years before it got to Beyonce. She got 25% of the song. I've talked to another writer who wrote and sang on one of your favorite songs. Credit not right, all kind of shit fucked up. His business still isn't handled. Beyonce was on tour last year. with that record, with that person's vocals, all that. The reason why people who work for Beyonce don't talk is because they're all on NDAs. Because that's also how she works. She silences people so that nobody can speak.
But also strangely, Beyonce lip syncs a lot. Even in her live shows, she's been caught lip syncing specific parts of almost every single one of her songs.
People on the platform noticed that during the national anthem, the band members were just pretending to play their instruments. Earlier today, the band confirmed that was so and said, flatly, Beyonce was lip-syncing. We all know Beyonce can sing. We all know the Marine Corps band can play, the spokeswoman told ABC News. We do not know why she decided to go with the pre-recorded music at the last minute.
Well, I am a perfectionist. And one thing about me, I practice until my feet bleed, and I did not have time to rehearse with the orchestra. It was a live television show and a very, very important emotional show for me, one of my proudest moments. And due to the weather, due to the delay, due to no proper sound check, I did not feel comfortable taking a risk. It was about the president and the inauguration, and I wanted to make him and my country proud. So I decided to sing along with my pre-recorded track, which is very common in the music industry. And I'm very proud of my performance.
I don't know if she's doing it to save her voice, or she can't hit those notes, or what's going on. But there are certain parts of her songs that she almost never live sings.
The accusations that Beyonce may have stolen her moves for the video of her new single, Countdown. A Belgian choreographer says the singer lifted steps from two of her dances. This is not the first time Beyonce's routines have, well, been questioned.
De Keersmaker told a Belgian radio station, quote, "This is plagiarism. This is stealing. What's rude about it is that they don't even bother about hiding it." Beyonce has been accused of incorporating others' moves into her routines before, including Bob Fosse's in her Put a Ring on It video. This year, her Billboard Music Awards performance was similar to this Italian pop star. Beyonce said she was inspired by the singer.
I can spend all day giving you examples of fake singing, vocal theft, and plagiarism by Jennifer Lopez. Jennifer Lopez cannot sing anything like you hear her singing on her albums.
I don't waste dream. No. Whoa. I'm sorry. Sorry, everybody. I'm sorry, everybody. That hurt me, too. No, that's not it. Okay, baby. I don't always dream that fine. I'm still going off on always, right?
Her most famous song, Jenny from the Block, that's like 3 or 4 other artists all blended together, and they have just enough of her sprinkled in there that it sounds like it's her singing it. Again, the original demo is way cleaner, and it sounds like Jennifer is just her own hype man. Jennifer Lopez really is her own hype man, though. She had to pay out of pocket to produce her own documentary. Yeah, nobody was gonna get up and make that for her. See, at least when you write a biography about yourself, you have to call it an autobiography. And yes, her documentary is exactly as bad as you'd expect. Apparently it took like 12 takes to get this one shot of Jennifer saying that she's from the Bronx.
I like taking my hair out like this. It reminds me like when I was 16 in the Bronx, running up and down the block. A crazy little girl who used to be wild and no limits, all dreams and
You're not supposed to take 12 takes in a documentary. See, 12 takes in a documentary is David Attenborough on his hands and knees trying to get a stick bug to walk right. It shouldn't take Jennifer Lopez 12 takes to act like a real human being in a documentary that's supposed to be about a real human being that's from the Bronx. But that's not just unique to Jennifer Lopez. All these characters are like this. They're fake. They're not real people. They're rich people. They pretend to be from the streets. They pretend to be from the block. They pretend to be from the community. They pretend to be one of us. But it's just a fake backstory.
I used to live here. I used to live here. Huh?
My name is Jennifer. Jennifer? Yeah, I used to live and my room was upstairs right there. Jennifer Lopez.
Who's Jennifer Lopez?
Me. I used to live here.
But then when Jenny from the Block dropped, it turned out that nobody from the Bronx really knew her.
For a long time.
The whole point of Jenny from the Block was to create that perception about her. It was all PR. It was designed to make her look like a down-to-earth normal person just like us, who just happened to rise to stardom. But that same year that Jenny from the Block dropped, it was released that Jennifer Lopez has an expected list of behaviors from staff members that she deals with. For example, hotel staff are not allowed to look her in the eye. There are a lot of idiots with policies like that, but that's an unfortunate irony for someone spending so much time and money to make themselves look like they're a normal person. If you're wondering how celebrities can be so entitled, it all dates back to the traditions of the ancient Roman players, the actors of the old empire. In Rome, to be an actor, you had to be born into a family that was already recognized for having a tradition of being actors. They're insiders. Being an actor is a prestigious position that's tied directly to the ruling class. Always has been, always will be. Historically, this is how the ruling class has always maintained control of our perception of reality, our perception of the empire, and this is how they've always managed to maintain control over perception of rulers. How we even mock them, how we would criticize them. If it seems like those people on SNL are pulling their punches a little bit, it's because they are.
She's the one with the bad temperament. She's always screaming, she's constantly lying, her hair is crazy, her face is completely orange, except around the eyes where it's white. And when she stops talking, her mouth looks like a tiny little butthole.
Secretary Clinton, did you have a response?
Not a response, more of a request. Can America vote right now?
It's because they're all one big happy family. These people operate under a completely different reality from us, with completely different rules than us. These people do not love us. They see themselves as above us. These people are nothing like us. I mean, it is a very powerful position to be a celebrity or a public figure who helps shape public perception of events and rulers and reality and religion and spirituality and politics. They feel entitled to this because their bloodline has always been entitled to this. But you knew this already, right? That celebrities are all related and politicians are all related. This is not the first time you're hearing this. I think this is one of those things that we all know, but you never really think about it. Never really think what it means. You've probably seen one of those trashy BuzzFeed articles by now talking about how certain celebrities are related to random royals throughout history. But if you think about it, that's kind of a joke, because all the royals, at least in Europe, have always been related. So to say that all those celebrities are related to European royals is to say that all those celebrities are related to each other. And if you go far enough back, each of these royals have common families. Even royal members that we're told are commoners, like Princess Diana or Kate Middleton, they can still tie their lineage back to people like Vlad the Impaler. They all come from these same bloodlines. They're all related, do you get it? Even if we don't use these terms today, we might reject the term royalty today, celebrities still consider themselves royals. They still believe that about themselves. They operate as an unofficial royal class. Whether we like it or not, they operate with a completely different rule set. They don't even get in trouble when they break rules. They hurt people. It's just, we gotta wait for karma to get them. It sucks. They consider themselves gods among men. while in reality they are deluded narcissists that are not worthy of our worship. They're not even worth our energy. They keep us separated with this thin velvet rope, and every time we show up to that velvet rope to celebrate them, we're just validating their delusion. We're validating this perception they have of themselves. So stop showing up to the velvet rope. Stop worshiping celebrities.